excited about this episode today. We have Assad and Razia from Czar Wellness. They're a Texas-based company. They have 24 locations across Texas. They specialize in premium products, specifically premium CBD, THC, hemp alternative products. Glad to have you on today. Thank you for being here.
Yeah,
Thank you so much for having us.
What was the inspiration behind Czar Wellness?
Well, for us, it's purely medicinal reasons. I was a combat medic in the Army in around 2011, got diagnosed with chronic insomnia when I was working night shifts in the hospital in Germany. Suffered for a good number of years. As you can imagine, they placed me on all types of pills, and those pills were doing more harm than good. Around 2019, came across hemp-derived CBD products, and after the first week of getting on a regimen, it absolutely saved my life. Right out of the Army, it was a rough time transitioning into the civilian world. I couldn't really keep a job, and we had just had a young baby, and we were preparing to move to a legal state where we could experiment with cannabis, because that was literally the only thing that we hadn't done yet, over the counter or prescription. And lo and behold, ran into CBD products here in Texas, and it saved my life.
Yeah, and I mean, seeing that transition for Assad, it was really inspirational. We really were just at a rock and a hard place, you can say. My background is all in pharmaceutical biotech. So I come from the medical field, and specifically cardiology and gastroenterology. And I also suffer from chronic rheumatoid arthritis. And if anyone knows what that is, that comes with a series of symptoms of inflammation and pain, joint stiffness. And I remember I was in early clinical trials for the biologics, hardcore drugs that I was on. And it's until we were trying to conceive for our first son, Zane, that's when I really thought to myself, have I been doing something so habitual that, yes, it's been helping, but am I doing any harm to my body? I would go and get my liver function test every 3 months. And I had to be off of that drug because it's categorized as a category X by the FDA. It's lethal to a fetus. And so I had to be off of it. And the beauty of pregnancy is that when you have an autoimmune condition like mine, it's kind of at bay. But once you deliver the baby, you are about to have a pretty bad flare. And it happened. It happened 2 months after having baby that I was in the hospital for 14 hours, pumping me with morphine. And everybody, rightfully so, loved ones, family, friends, all said, get back on your therapy. And that's when I was questioning, like, wow, for how long will my liver be good? You know, so I wanted to seek an alternative. Seeing what Assad went through, and ultimately seeing how much hemp-derived cannabinoids was helping him, I went into that as well. And I also was more skeptical. I did my research, and that stems from my background. And that's what I always did in my biotech and farm days. So I specifically, for me, day 13, it's something, my endocannabinoid system was firing on all the right levels. And I did not have the experience that I usually would wake up with, which was a lot of swelling and stiffness in the joints. And something clicked. Was what is happening here? And it's a beautiful feeling for me to be able to open a bottle of water. That was the thing that was taken away from me. I did not have dexterity control in my hands as much as I used to. So I was handing that off to a stranger, a friend, Assad, like, hey, could you open this for me? Could you open this for me? And I got so used to that the second that I realized I could do it on my own, you couldn't just take that grin off my face. It's an amazing feeling. And so where Czar Wellness was born was literally, it stands for our initials, Z for Zane, A for Assad, R for Razia. And it actually stems from a Persian Urdu word. It means rich in quality gold. And it's really what we do. We raise a standard in Texas with no regulation out there. Unfortunately, there is a proliferation in the state of Texas. There's a proliferation, as y'all know, across the country. So no matter what side of the fence you're on about it, the reality is it's out there in our communities. And what we are advocates for is know your source. With Czar, you know the source. We know exactly from crop from that seed to the crop, to the extraction process, to it getting on the shelf, being shipped to your door, whatever it is, we track it with third-party lab tests, good manufacturing practice facilities. It's all really crucial. And I do believe no matter where anyone is on the fence, you can get your head and wrap around the fact that we should have age restrictions for psychoactive cannabinoids, if we can do it for gambling, and if we can do it for alcohol. And we should have child-proof packaging, because there is something to be said, and maybe it stems from being a mother and having children, that children can get attracted to certain things and not knowingly take something that could cause more harm than good. So these basic things, I believe people can really get around. And I'm really happy, and Assad is really proud that we do that at our storefronts. Nobody mandates it. We believe it's the right thing to do. We sleep better at night knowing that we're providing a great quality product, really tailored to the person's needs.
That's awesome. I love that. I love your story. First off, Assad, thank you for your service. It's amazing. You know, there's so many mirrors of veterans to veterans that share the same experiences. I won't go into detail, but I share a lot of the same. I was then asked what hospital. Was it Longstool by any chance?
Yeah. I was in Longstool, yep.
So in 2010, I got medevaced out of Afghanistan to Longstool.
Oh, wow.
Was there. Yeah, so I close ties, and similar story when I got out of Afghanistan, or got out of the military, of, on a lot of medications. Brand new father. I literally became a dad 3 weeks after getting out of the military. Couldn't hold down a job, and cannabis was a savior. So I can definitely sympathize with your story and everything in a lot of different parts. And I appreciate what you're doing, and the dedication to quality and integrity that you guys have with your brand. That's something that's lost in both spaces, whether that's cannabis or hemp. There's a lot of people that don't care about the patients anymore, and they don't look at people as patients. They look at them as clients, consumers, and a way to make money. And while, yes, everybody must eat and everybody needs to make, support their lifestyles and stuff, there's also a certain way that you can go about this type of industry and these types of products to care for the end consumer, the patient, because there's a lot of people using this for medicinal reasons. And there's a lot of education missing out there. And that's something that I wanted to ask you guys about. You guys are doing some pretty interesting things. So first of all, let's talk about your locations. Describe your locations to me. You have 24 locations. When did you start? How did you get to how fast you got to the 24? And what are they? I assume they're not just like a smoke shop or a head shop.
No, and it's a beautiful question. We have thrived through the pandemic. We exist in 3 major metro areas in Texas, DFW, where we have 11 locations, Greater San Antonio, including New Braunfels, with 5 locations, and then a Greater Houston area with 8 locations. And you're absolutely right. It is from the second you step into a Czar store, you notice the difference. They're bright. They're lively. They're very more on the modern contemporary side. And they're welcoming without a spoken word. But what we do is we really ensure that there is a beautiful experience about to happen. And we love the fact that someone may have that perception of, am I walking into a smoke shop, and absolutely be pleasantly surprised, just as Assad and I were also wondering when we first were looking for a place, where are we going to? Is this the right place to take a baby? I mean, this was real for us. And so we want it to be a place where it is a family environment as well, and is welcoming to everyone. And we do that with a beautiful greeting, welcome to Czar, where people come first. We really, truly believe in our heart and our soul that this is where you should come first to be educated on the endocannabinoid system and what we coin cannatherapy, and where you get to experience the first beginning of your canna journey. We follow you as a client. We stay in touch with you, and we talk through the different layers, the modalities of hemp-derived cannabis. And I think that's really important, because when people are being educated, be it the ailments that they're seeking relief from, most common being sleep, pain, anxiety, depression, or just wanting something for leisure, unwinding and relaxing, this is where we get to really educate. And where the fact that we know that all of our team members, 70 plus strong now, have all gone through our rigorous training program and are certified cannabis consultants. That's really, truly important.
Is that a program? Is that a program that you guys created yourself?
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
I was a trainer. That's part of what I stem from in my days of doing training, learning and development, as well as pharma biotech, meeting with hospitals and doing rounds. Aside, being a combat medic, this is how we always envisioned it. We would want somebody to break it down for us if we were in front of something, and that's what we're able to offer individuals coming through our storefronts.
Yeah, I mean, we really focus on the medicinal side of this, right? We really don't care about getting you high. The misperception is that, hey, if something gets you the highest, it's the best for you.
Yeah,
it's not necessarily the case, right? You can, you don't have to get high to feel great, right? We have products that have very small amount of THC that doesn't get you high, but takes care of your anxiety, stress, any kind of physical pain. Not only that, but it gives you a nice boost of energy and focus during the day. Now, in the evening, if you want to relax with like a THC gummy or something, or a Delta-8 sublingual oil, that's perfectly fine. But our priority is really improving your daily quality of life and helping you live your best life. That's our priority. But yeah, do folks utilize our products recreationally? Absolutely. But like Razia said, most folks coming into our doors, they want help with pain and sleep issues, anxiety, stress, PTSD, and so on.
I think, and I would add on to that, I think one of the best things to see is when you take someone who maybe has that mindset of, I just thought this was for becoming high or being high, and I'll get the product from you. It's taking that individual and breaking it down. And it's an amazing thing to see when it clicks in someone's head. Like, wait, I don't have to just wait till they're waiting for the clock to turn 5. To run home or whatever it may be, because they're struggling with pain or anxiety.
Yeah.
They want something to basically blitz them out, right? And it's massive pain, but it's a repetitive cycle. It's like we can break the cycle and let's take care of that anxiety during the day and the pain.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't mean that you don't have a low dose of THC or live resin like what exists in our Rise oil, which has been a game changer for folks, even for myself. I went from our own 3,000 milligram full spectrum oil, which was a fat soluble oil, beautiful oil. But as an emerging industry and as a company that's growing, we should put our resources into research and development. When we got the ability to extract really great quality live resin, then we should evolve our line. And that's what we did. And so for myself being in the focus group, and that's another beautiful thing we do focus groups. We do focus groups with our clients. We don't put anything on our shelf that Assad and I have not either been in a focus group for our own trials, because we want to make sure that when it hits the shelf or hits online for our e-commerce platform, that it is absolutely of the highest quality and has the safety measure behind it. And the fact that you can take someone who's just been using something maybe off the street from some other place and teach them how it works. And then I'm like, and in the end, if all they choose is an edible or a smokable from us, our most, the hottest thing right now, the THCA cannabinoid, we have the best out there that we can offer in Texas. And it's amazing to see people who, if all they do is do that, I'm like, you're about to get the cleanest high that you've wanted. And at least you know where it's coming from.
Yeah. Where do you guys source your product from?
Important.
Where do you guys source everything? If you don't mind my asking, just...
No, that's right. So we have our main facility is in Colorado, partner with this GMP certified facility, but we work with them to formulate our own products so that blends of different cannabinoids that are geared towards specific ailments, like you won't find these products anywhere else. That's ours.
Purpose-driven blends.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, awesome. I love that. Is it Apollo Sciences by any chance?
No,
it's not.
No? Okay.
I've never heard of that one.
Yeah,
They're another GMP certified. They're in Denver. They're a good lab. In Denver.
I believe they get their hemp from Oregon. There's also another one in Oklahoma.
Oklahoma, Kentucky, Virginia, and Oregon grow some really good hemp.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and then the flower is all indoor, natural grown farms. And so the beauty is, and what we hear a lot in our storefronts, people coming from legal states, they'll be like, "Oh wow, this is more of a dispensary feel," and then they try our quality and they're like, "Oh wow, I couldn't get that from where I was." And we know that, right? The beauty of being in Texas right now is we're in the wild, wild west. So if you recognize the source you're going to, you can get the best of the best now in Texas. And on the flip side, you can go and get some pretty bad product. And so that's the unfortunate thing, right? You have one spectrum to the other. So that's why we advocate know your source, the ability to talk one-on-one with someone, even if you're unable to get into a Czar store. The fact is we do a concierge service online. We have an online consultation form. We receive plenty of those daily. And then we have a one-on-one consult that's set up over the phone, and we're shipping to people. We also just launched our subscribe and save plan that just went live. And we're about to launch. This is all driven by clients asking for it, which I think is really, really cool with being a little over 3 years old. And then the latest thing that we are finally fine-tuning and about to launch is our Czar affiliate program, which I think is just going to be amazing. And this is also driven by folks who are wanting this type of program because they're already naturally telling people, how did I change my life? And we have countless stories, and we have what we call our Czar fam team members, individuals who have Crohn's disease or MS, Parkinson's, things like this, that they are on our Rise oil, which is fortified. You're talking about blends, CBG, full spectrum cannabinoids. Entourage effect is hit so much sooner, and they are going into their physicians and getting their medical scans taken. And they're saying, the doc is like, what are you doing differently? Because they're not seeing the inflammation levels that they were used to. That is beautiful, and that is real. So, yeah.
Back to the education part of it, when we really take our time with folks coming into our doors, right? I mean, it's about 15 minutes, 30 minutes, sometimes an hour with someone to make sure that they understand how the endocannabinoid system works, how to feel best and achieve results based on your ailments and the severity of those ailments, right?
Yeah.
And it's a beautiful thing, you know. It's been serving us really well, taking that approach.
Yeah, and I think it's important, right? This is one of the things, especially as we serve our veterans community. We believe it's a very deserving community. I come from a place of now being married to a veteran. But what I tell people is through these 3 years, I have grown by meeting so many veterans and people from the active military and the various branches, that it's through actually being with Assad that I was like, God, I lived in a bubble my whole life in this country, you know, as an adult, because I am beyond just the thank you anymore. I want to make impact. I want to do a daily impact. And that's why Czar's Mission 22 is just a beautiful reminder daily of what we're able to do. And, you know, several of our military know this, and veterans, that the unfortunate statistic of 22 veterans taking their lives is a true epidemic under our nose, and stems from every community across this country. And so the ability to give back in a meaningful way is really near and dear to the both of us. Assad lost 4 good friends in the Army, young men in their 20s. We are believers to suicide, right? And they make that statistic up. They made that up as well. So the fact
that 22 a day only reflects veterans too. It doesn't reflect the active duty.
It only reflects veterans. So
that's what's sad is there needs to be more access to, especially like with stuff like what you guys like. So with CBD products, other minor cannabinoids that contain minor amounts, what I like to say, non-psychoactive amounts of THC, because if you know, THC works harmoniously with the other cannabinoids as a binding cannabinoid, as a carrying cannabinoid, and helps everything interact better. So if you take it away, I like to tell people layman's way is it's not going to work as well, and it might take a little bit longer. But if you add the THC to it, just a small amount, it helps it and brings out all those benefits. If we could get that same education across the country, you know, and allow our active duty members to be able to have access to non-psychoactive alternative methods of healing. Man, it'd be
that'll be a game changer.
A game changer. And that's, you know, kind of get your opinion on this. I do have my own opinion on it as well. And I don't know if you guys know, my day-to-day operations as the COO of a alternative hemp brand as well called The Standard.
Cool.
And we'll take up time on this as well, but we have the same dedication. We have the same mission How we do our stuff is purpose-driven blends. We use a lot of different minor cannabinoids in our vaporables and in our edibles to give effects that are based on something that you would need, not just getting more than just getting you high. And very clean. We track it. Same thing. We track it all the way from the crop all the way through extraction. We test our products multiple times throughout through accredited labs, or that's through ACS labs in Florida or through SD Farm Labs in California. Those are the two that we'll use because they give accurate testing. And we've had some, good success with, like you're seeing yourself, but we're big on that education part, right? One thing I've seen though is like states like Texas or states like where we started our company in Wyoming, states that don't have legal cannabis, these products do very well. But where most of us want to go is we want to go to legal cannabis, but then there's that other side part, like, well, if we go to legal cannabis, the business that we've built up and ran kind of goes away unless we can convert it over, But I really see, what I would like to see happen is what we've seen in this hemp space with the access. And that's the best thing, is because if you go to these different states, you can take, let's talk about Florida and Arizona, two medical, actually Arizona's a recreational cannabis market. The level of access for patients is very low. And the quality of the products that they have on top of that is not there. In fact, hemp products have a higher standard sometimes, depending on the brand, than these cannabis products, and have better effects and stuff, right? Mm-hmm. So that's been the problem with the cannabis market, is because when the states take control, they restrict it just to that state and just to what I like to say, the knowledge and the technology of that state. But right next door, there might be a better lab, might be someone that knows how to make the product way better, safer, cleaner, but you're not going to allow that in. Whereas that's why I love the hemp market, because we have this interstate trade that we can do, and we can get those best products and source them from the best parts of the country where they grow the best, have the best full spectrum of cannabinoids and terpenes, and bring them in to give to the patients. And I would love to see that on both sides, on cannabis and on hemp,
Yeah, no, we're very familiar with what you just said, because here in Texas, I don't know if you've heard of their program. It's called the TCUP program, the Compassionate Use Program.
Yep.
And they only gave 3 licenses, right? So, and only 2 of those companies are actually using the licenses, and they're overstretched, right? They have to cover the entire state, these 2 companies. And the quality, when there's no competition, quality suffers, right? That's the basics of the market, right? And there are a lot of people who prefer our products over their products, their so-called cannabis products, right? Yep. So they prefer our hemp-derived products way more. They're telling us, hey, your products are way more effective, and the quality is a million times better. And we have a lot of these folks are actually working for us now. That's how much they value the Czar quality, right? Awesome. Like, hey, I want to come work with you guys. But yeah.
In your stores, do you guys just carry the Czar brand? I mean, and we could talk about some of the products that you have if you want to, maybe some of your top products that your patients do the best with. Do you guys just carry the Czar family brand, or do you guys carry other brands that support us? I mean, because there is a lot of bad apples out there in the bunch, so you got to pick and choose what you're going to bring.
That's why we were kind of forced to create our own brand, so we can keep an eye on the quality, right? Yep. That was the only way. But we do carry some stuff that are third-party tested, like we carry CBD living water or drinks out of California, Delta 8 mixers and so on. But yeah, the vast majority, I would say 95% of our products is our brand.
Even all the way to our new pet oil that we just launched with omega-3 fatty acids was all Czar branded. And it's to what Assad mentioned, it's really understanding the quality, creating those proprietary blends, and really doing the R&D behind it. It's beautiful to have to go through with the process to understand the product when it finally comes out on the shelf. There's a lot of hard work that goes behind the scenes to ensure that we can have the effectiveness. There is no, as you know, no cure for a lot of the conditions that people suffer from, including myself, or including insomnia that my RA, or what insomnia with Assad. But what we can do is improve our daily quality of life. And that is what we speak and we preach to individuals, that if you are seeking that, you're seeking an alternative path, you have nothing to lose, but you only lose out if you don't try.
Mm-hmm.
That's
true.
That's the beauty of it. And then the beauty of what we all can recognize, being intimately involved in the industry, is not eliciting any additional side effects. by switching between different modalities. So I've mentioned it here today about cannatherapy, but one of the products that I'm absolutely love and I would like to point out to folks, this is my daytime regimen. It's the Rise Oil and the Wellness Gummy. The Wellness, sorry, right over here. But the Wellness Gummy, it's over there. The Rise and the Wellness. The reason being is for me personally, I take a half a dropper of my Rise Oil every morning, and it is a fat-soluble oil, so I am holding this under my tongue for as long as I can. We advise, if you can, do it for 2 minutes. That's great. And then ultimately what people who never had a tincture before, why that's important is that all mammals have an endocannabinoid system, and be a human being, the receptors that are the fastest to get absorbed into the bloodstream exist right under your tongue. So the ability to get it into the bloodstream and adhere to your fat cells is the first goal. And when I tell people that it's the most potent product, it kind of like, what do you mean most potent? Most potent in that it circulates in your endocannabinoid system due to its half-life, 12 to 14 hours. So you're getting, I compare it to like if you go eat a burger or a steak, you have a really nice meal and you go, wow, that tasted really great. And then you find out from the chef that they marinated it for hours upon hours. That's what your fat-soluble oil is doing technically. It's hitting and firing all those receptors. So for me, with a condition that is autoimmune, that increases a lot of inflammation in my body, this is fortified with cannabigerol. Cannabigerol, G for grandfather or gold, is what really drives in and creates all these other cannabinoids that we all fell in love with. And without it, where would we be in our system, right? So the beauty of this particular oil with live resin is it's fast acting. You only have to do it once a day, but then I follow it with the ability to have another additional layer on board. Fire in all cylinders is my wellness gummy, and it's fortified with CBG, CBD, magnesium, zinc. This is part of our new line, but one of the big things is we talk to people about rise with Czar and rest with Czar. Cover your day, cover your night, and it's been life-changing for several people and for myself as well. And this is where like an individual who's maybe suffering with anxiety, and with my RA coupled chronic anxiety on there, that a lot of people face today, the fact that I can feel at bay and feel more at ease during the day and not struggle and have more focus and energy, I attribute that to my cannatherapy. And when I just want to have a good time and have fun, and I know where to go between Delta 8, between THCP, and understand what Delta 9 does in my body, I think that's the real beauty of it, is understanding how the particular cannabinoids work. And what we love to do is educate and change the narrative. We like to really help normalize this plant and reduce the stigma. And that's what we get to do every single day. I mean, it's phenomenal, but the reality of why it's really important to look at your products and understand, even if you don't know the source, even if, let's say, you have a product that doesn't have a lab report, which we don't advise on, the fact that something so simple when people tell you, man, sometimes I use a gummy and I get this effect. Sometimes I use that same gummy in the jar and I get this effect. Why is that? Because they're sprayed. And people are like, whoa, really? The beauty at Czar is we don't spray anything. We infuse. And why that's really important when we teach cannatherapy is once you figure out what half a gummy does, what one gummy does, what two gummy does for you, you then can rely on that consistency. I think that is beautiful. We were talking to our team today, and the same gummy, the person can take one and knows what it does for them and they can have their fun. But when they need to go back and understand the type of day they're having and cut it to half, they know what half is going to offer them. And that's through trial and error, because in the end, you get to be your best, what is it called?
Best self.
Your best self, but your best scientist, an advocate for your own, the advocate for your own body.
I take the rest oil, right, for my sleep. This is actually a pretty potent oil, right? It's a full spectrum, but fortified with CBN and CBD, right? So
live resin.
And it doesn't take much. I take about an eighth of this dropper, and that that does me. Somebody with really high tolerance, a quarter of this dropper, hold it under your tongue for 2 minutes, 20 minutes before going to bed. You're going to have the best sleep of your life.
I love CBN. I love it. When I was going to school for my RN, wrote a paper. We had to do in my first year, we had to do a paper on some pharmaceuticals, but we could do anything. It just couldn't be a Schedule 1. So I was like, okay, I'm going to write it on alternative cannabinoids. And I wrote it on CBN and the benefits of CBN, comparing it to diazepam and just the immense relaxation benefits and the sleep benefits. And I love CBN. We put it in as well.
Yeah, we have that in our Triple Z gummy as well. Our Triple Z gummy, it's CBD, CBG, as well as CBN with a small amount of melatonin. Now, before all this, when I was taking, everything on the planet for my sleep, I was trying melatonin at some point as well. That melatonin by itself, the next morning, it gave me some grogginess, right? Yeah. But when it's combined with these cannabinoids or compounds, they counter those negative side effects of melatonin. So, but they work pretty well together. Our most exciting product, I would say, is our the quad gummies, right? It is, if you're looking, of course, each compound has its medicinal value as well, of course. And these compounds are mainly for recreational use, but people can use it for sleep and so on as well. Each gummy has live resin, D8, Delta 8 THC, HHC, Delta 9 THC, as well as a small amount of THCP. And all those psychoactive compounds, give you a pretty nice feeling. So very popular right now.
Nice relaxing. And then one of the things I would say, it's very interesting one of the missions, besides Czar's Mission 22, I did want everybody to know that through this mission, we have just surpassed our 2 million in veteran discounts, which is just given.
That's amazing.
Daily. And so out
3 years since June of 2020.
That is great. Well, and just a shout out to you guys, people, that czarwellness.com, if you go on there. I'm not sure if you can get the military discount online, but if you're shopping in their stores, you guys give a 22% discount in recognition of the 202 a day. Daily. That's amazing.
Daily. Yeah. They will see, if they go on the website, they will see the phone number where they can text proof of service.
DD214, Veterans ID or Retired ID.
Absolutely. It comes straight to me, and then I send them the code that they can use at checkout, get their 22% off, no matter where they live in the States. We'll ship it to them.
And we're really proud of that, because when you were talking about the storefronts, 1 out of 3 individuals coming into a store is a veteran. It means 2 out of 3 are not, but they give us the opportunity by being a patron to keep providing that discount, right? Continue that daily discount. And same thing with the e-commerce platform. If you've never had the opportunity to be in a Czar store, you're out of the state of Texas, you can do that. You can, what Assad said, you can get your veteran ID verified. And we have countless of people who do that. They also get their consultations done. But one of the things I also was going to point out is this whole mission, besides our Czar's Mission 22, is really to help educate our communities. We want to be the source of a health and wellness organization that specializes in hemp-derived cannabinoids within a 5-mile radius of our storefront. What does that really mean? That means engaging with our community, really normalizing more so this, destigmatizing. And how do we do that? And we're doing some really unique things at Czar. We just officially, the press release came out about a month and a half ago. We are the official wellness partner for the Frisco Fighters, which is the indoor football league. We're exclusive.
Congratulations. That's awesome.
Thank you. We're the official exclusive wellness partner of SportsCon, which you've heard of Comic-Con probably. SportsCon, they launched it before the pandemic. It was beautiful. Everything kind of got shut down, as we all know. And then they just unveiled SportsCon a couple weeks ago, and they had over 100 athletes there. It was just amazing. And now we're working with some athletes to continue the mission. Right? They understand the mission. They understand where we want to go with Czar. We're really trying to heal the world with one cannabis consultation at a time. We believe in our mission. Everybody starts from somewhere. We're 3 years strong. And ultimately, we're working with other other organizations who are already reaching out to us, Peak Fighting Champion, PFC, various organizations who want us to be their wellness partner, because I think that's the way that you really can change the narrative. We are a company that specializes in hemp-derived cannabinoids, just like what you were saying when you were presenting CBN. Ultimately, you knew that there's value in that. This is what we specialize in. This is where we can really shine and help others. That we understand there's a niche marketplace in the sporting environment, and we're really trying to find individuals and organizations that can help push the movement forward. That's where this affiliate program was driven from. To, can you guys create this? Yes, we can. We're super innovative. We're the very first to remove CBD from our storefront name, and in the state of Texas. And we launched the very first iOS app and Android app, Czar app, for pickup. It helped us tremendously during the state of the economy and the pandemic that we're trying to shut down stores. It's really what kept us alive and going. Ultimately, we're doing some really cool, new, innovative things that are about to hit for Czar that nobody has seen before, and they will be game changers.
That is awesome. That is awesome. Well, Assad and Razia, I appreciate it so much for you guys coming on and sharing your mission, your dedication, for being the pillars in the community and the change and removing the stigmatism around cannabis and the benefits, and sharing the information of the wellness that it can provide just in our day-to-day living. You don't always have to get high to receive the benefits. And I appreciate you guys sharing that with people and what you guys are doing in Texas, like I said, for the community, for the veterans, and just the respect and the reputation and the dedication and quality that you guys have. I really appreciate it. I hope people will check you guys out at czarwellness.com, check out your app, and support the brand and support people that are bringing quality products to the patients. Thank you guys so much, and I really appreciate your time today. You have a blessed day.
Awesome.
Thank you very much, Bryce.
Take care.
Appreciate it.
The opinions expressed on this CannabisRadio.com program are those of the guests and hosts and do not necessarily reflect those of the staff and management of CannabisRadio.com. Any rebroadcast, republication, or retransmission of this program without proper consent is prohibited.